Hello, everyone, and welcome to Late Night Unite. Kirk Dupes next to Bay, and today we have the Content Cowboy, Spragels. Spragels, how you doing today, sir?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to be chatting to you again. We did so just a few days ago, something we'll get into. But first, I'm assuming everybody here is somebody that is already familiar with you and probably know me less. But for the sake of argument, go on and give us just the abridged version of who you are.
Sure. My name's Jake. I go by Spragels. I call myself a content cowboy. People seem to like that. I say yeehaw a lot. I make a ton of Pokemon Unite content. I would consider myself the worst competitive player in Unite. I'm pretty dang good if you compare me to people who are not very good. I play a ton of the game. I love casting it. And yeah, that's it's kind of where I'm at right now. My big push is to get better at casting the game and maybe, just maybe, cast worlds. What a world that would be, Doob.
Well, hashtag let Jake cast worlds.
That's right.
It's taken over the Twitter sphere, at least
It really has.
At least within the Pokemon Unite community. I would start my own hashtag, but one, you already started yours, so it looked like I'd be copying, and two, I don't have the reach you do, so I think it would just kind of flop, and then it would just be me using it a whole bunch, which isn't the greatest look either. So I'll let you have that for now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
The first question I have to ask is usually going to be, which should have been the second question, but I'm going to ask it first because it's the most interesting thing going right now. You have a video, top 5 foods that you can eat that aren't hot dogs. Give those of the folks out there that are content cowboys or content cowboy fans that may not have gone back into your archive and clicked on the 4th video you ever posted.
Sure. If I'm remembering this video right, it is comedic in nature, and it was just kind of a spoof of, top 5 lists, which now I do in earnest. So what are you going to do with that? And it was 5 foods you could eat that aren't hot dogs. I'm guessing I did a banana, very similar to a hot dog, tube-like shape. Might have thrown a carrot in there. I know at one point I threw in a hot dog, and I said I'm kind of cheating here, but it's a great call. And then I think the last food, I wish I could remember the last food I chose. What is the last food that I'd eat besides a hot dog? I don't know. Maybe I'd say just have a drink of water. Sometimes you're not hungry, you're thirsty.
Well, there you go. The just cheat code in your own video. For everybody out there, it's go to Spragels' page, reverse sort to the oldest videos first. 4th video has 645 views. Blow it up.
Not bad.
Let's get the metrics up on that.
Not bad.
100%.
Gonna go monetize that right now. I'm gonna make sure that one's monetized, baby.
But Spragels, again, thank you so much for joining me. You and I are in a very, very unique position, being 50% of the people that cast the NA and EU February finals. And honestly, I think that's something that would be fun and interesting to talk about, because we're the first ones out of the gate, and it feels good. So no matter what happens to every other one moving forward, we're stamped on the first one, just like Gaming Gladiators is stamped on the first win for NA, and Random Gaming is stamped on the first win for EU.
True.
But tell me a little bit about your experience, just leading up to it. How did you prepare, things you were thinking about? And then, of course, in the moment, like how it felt. I mean, you were the MC too, right? You were our host. You were bringing us in. You were kind of the captain of ship as well.
Yeah, I felt really good about the whole thing going into it. Of course, I was excited, also nervous, I wanted to do a good job. One thing I did feel very confident with was, we had that kind of first run through that all 4 of us did. And they were kind of running through the whole show rundown. And I thought, wow, there are some moments in here that were really tricky. And I wasn't sure exactly what they were going to do with it because they had us throwing to certain things that I was honestly a little confused by, and some of the template things that they had were maybe not easy for me to imagine. So for everyone at home, as we're kind of going through the broadcast, we have a rehearsal day and we're all there, and there's this huge Excel sheet. It's massive, and it goes point by point what's going to be happening throughout the broadcast. And at points we would be throwing to multiple things that I don't know if this is your experience, Dube. I'd be curious to hear, but a few things just felt extremely similar to me at times. Where we're going to talk about the how the tournament works. Okay. And then we're going to look at the who has qualified. And then we're going to look at the schedule. And then we're going to look at the bracket. And as I'm kind of going through it, I'm thinking, man, a lot of this is kind of the same stuff to talk about. And obviously we all found great, things to hit on, and it wasn't difficult at all. But at first I was a little like, I don't know what we're going to do here. And there were other things that did not make it into the broadcast, other graphics and things like that I also thought, is this helpful or is it just kind of cumbersome as we move through it? So that was sort of my first thought there. I'm curious, did you have a similar thought, or what was that part of it like for you when we first saw that big rundown and we're doing our rehearsal?
I'm going to be honest. I got analysis paralysis. Like I fired up the spreadsheet and I clicked on the schedule and I was like, oh man. And then, and what really stuck out to me, what gave me the biggest sticker shock was the time allocations to each. And once I realized that like those are limits, they're not actually like hard times, that like gave me a sigh of relief, because as you're going to find out today, I'm incredibly long-winded sometimes. So having a couple extra seconds to like finish my thought is important to me, because if I think I'm under the gun, then I'll rush and then I'll miss the point I was trying to say and ramble on anyways. That was like the biggest thing when I opened up that Excel sheet. But all in all, through the rehearsal day, I got way more comfortable with what we were doing.
Same. Yeah. And a point I was going to make a little earlier, I think I was getting to it and then I got lost in the weeds as I'm going through, was I felt really good after we did our first little bit of the run through, because all four of us, we were all extremely capable. We all knew how to cast a game. We all knew what to talk about. It wasn't like none of us knew anything about this game. We were just expert commentators and kind of going through it. Like, it was easy. It felt easy when I saw you guys, the way the schedule had it, Doob and Kendo cast the first sort of fake game, and I was like, yeah, this is a cakewalk. We've done this 1,000 times. And then Jeff and I cast a game, and it's easy, it's fun. The more we kind of did it, I feel like we got into a little bit of a groove. So I wasn't worried about that at all. There were some moments, kind of being the intro and outro person, that I was thinking, oh, I hope I don't immediately stumble over my words and screw up this whole broadcast right away. Because in my head, I kept saying Pokemon Unite Championship Series February Finals. Like, it just is not exactly how I would probably word it in my brain, but that is what it's called. So that I was a little worried about. But after that rehearsal, I felt really good. Dress rehearsal, I felt really good. And then once the show started, I remember there were a couple moments. There was a moment you were casting, and there was a moment I was casting a match. And both those moments, I felt like, oh, we're doing this. Like, we're cooking with gas. This is happening right now. I remember watching you, and you said something about, take me down to the bayou. We're having squirrel for dinner. When Agreed got KO'd, and I thought, yeah, we're going. Like, this is happening right now. Let's cast some Pokemon Unite right here. Let's have fun with this. And then from that moment on, I felt a lot more playful throughout the cast. The longer it went, the more comfortable we got, the more comfortable I felt throughout the cast. Watching you guys were nailing it the whole time. And we also had this really fun camaraderie. Sorry that I'm now kind of bloviating for too long. Go for it. We had this fun camaraderie where I really genuinely wanted you guys to succeed. I felt like you guys wanted us to succeed when we were casting. Before we went on, just like seconds before the other team would go on, we were all saying, I love you, I love you, I love you so much, into like the comms, and then going silent for the other team to come on. So I just felt great. We were all in this thing together. Like you said, the first time, no one had done it for North America and EU. So yeah, it just felt like there was a bit of a bonding there too. Like, let's do this. Let's crush this together. I don't know. Again, long-winded, sorry, but that's those are some of my thoughts kind of that cast.
There's it's amazing that you say that, because I feel very much so the same. When we were listening, and even, I mean, I think you could tell too, because at one point you even said like, I expected you to say that, because every time we were practicing our intros, I'm assuming you could tell that I was trying to figure out what direction I wanted to go in to start us off, because I wanted something in my mind that says like, okay, this will give you a little bit of an idea of like how Kirk speaks and how I approach the game, which is, I think, in the cast different than the other three, which is important and good. But I wanted to come that through in my intro without being like cumbersome, long-winded, and like super punny. So I ended up going with, I think, Slobberknocker and then Donnybrook on like the NA, like Slobberknocker and Donnybrook.
Yes.
And like after I said Slobberknocker, you literally said, I think you actually said Blobberknocker, which had me just dead inside. But when we were rehearsals, you literally said like, I thought you were gonna say something like that. Which at that point in time, I knew like, okay, we're feeling each other out and we're starting to pick up how we speak, what directions we go in. And again, it just made it feel like we had a safety net the whole time. Like nobody was going to let somebody else fall.
Yes. That's a great point too, because I do feel like I casted with Jeff before, my duo partner, and he had a whole tournament and he invited me to co-cast it with him, and it was a really good time. And it's really nice having someone there where, if you kind of screw up or don't fully finish your thought, they kind of are able to go and pick it up, or even just move on to the next thing. You're not, sitting there hanging in the wind being like, I hope Jeff says something. I noticed that with you and Kendo. There was, it felt like watching you guys, there was sort of the more analytical side of Kendo, and then you were much more color commentary. That might even be a disservice to what you do, just because you're very charismatic. So I think when you have sort of those metaphors and stuff, people could maybe label that as color, but it felt like a little bit of that. And then with Jeff and I wonder if it feels like that a little bit also. Definitely different shades of it, but Jeff is a little more analytical, and I would like to make a joke here and there. So I feel like there was a nice little balance there too.
Let me ask you just real quick. Do you try? Are you a wrestling fan by chance? Because I don't want to use this like vernacular, but have you ever heard the expression like popping the truck?
I have not heard it. Okay. I know what wrestling is. I used to watch it younger. I've not heard the term popping the truck.
Okay,
no.
So essentially it's when a wrestler does something in the ring to try and make like the camera crew and the guys in the back laugh. So it's just a thing. And I kind of gotten a vibe to see like how many times I could get Kenbo to just delay on the pickup, because he was either processing what I said, or I could hear him like chuckle and stuff like that. So that just kind of became a fun thing. So I didn't know if, in the back of your mind, sometimes you're trying to, you try to like get a rise out of Jeff, like with one of your things. I think the I am the one who knocks was an awesome line from one of your games that had me I was just in stitches while I was listening. But anyways, I didn't know if that's something that you had thought of, because it's just an extra layer of fun that I like to have with Kendo, and when I'm commentating with Zoinks and stuff like that I just try and do. Like if I can get a rise out of them, like I know it's a good one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I did improv comedy for years and years, and one of the best things you can do is to genuinely make the person you're performing with, or the other comedians you're with, laugh or break or something like that in a very genuine way. Yes, surprise them. I remember I said something to Jeff at one point. He completely blew by it, which he definitely should have. But I said something about how Greedent can do it all. It can KO. It can, I don't know, has crazy movement. It can be a single mother and work 2 jobs. And Jeff was like, and now they're moving into the base. They are going to score. So I love those moments.
That's another one that I mean, you got a rise out of me. I was just laughing. You said you got to cast with Jeff a little bit. With probably a Hooglandia event, if I were to guess, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you do any prep work with Jeff leading up to the event, or did you just kind of like, hey, we've already kind of got this sorted out, maybe just a quick conversation and we're good to go?
Yeah, he just reached out to me because I did something else. I, from time to time, if there's a big event on and I have nothing to do with it, I will stream the entire thing and just cast the whole thing by myself.
Okay.
And he saw me do that with something. I don't remember what it was, but he just reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm doing this event. Would you like to do it?" And we had a brief conversation. I didn't know how much he knew about Unite. I didn't know how much, I didn't know how familiar with the game he was or how much he was playing, because I didn't know much about Jeff then. But yeah, we had a brief conversation and then we just hopped on. And I feel like if I just keep it in my head, like I want the event to go well, I want Jeff to look good, and I hopefully want myself to look good through all that. We'll have a good time. And I thought Jeff and I had a great time casting that. Mm-hmm. And it was just kind of a little serendipitous that we got paired together again. That was pretty cool.
There had to be a little bit of a comfort factor, or at least like a sigh of relief, I guess, when you're like, okay, this is who I'm paired up with. Because I'm sure you were like me. I mean, it's just kind of up in the air. You're like, okay, I think I'm doing this thing. I don't really know all the details. And then you just kind of find out and you're like, all right. And for me, Kendo and I had literally never spoken before. So when they did, when I found out I was paired with them, I hit them up. I was like, hey, can we run through a couple games? Because I need to see how this is going to work. Because, I mean, my style is what it is. There's not a lot of ways to shift it and move it to pick up slack in certain areas. For example, I couldn't get paired. I mean, I've worked with Jeff before, but there's something that Jeff does that it's just not in my range. Like, I wouldn't be able to do, which is why Jeff is there and Jeff is good. So working out with Kendo, and we did one, and we're like, okay, we're gonna be all right. Like this is gonna be fine. This is gonna be fine.
You guys were a great pairing. I loved. It felt like if this is, don't take this as an insult. It's not meant to be, but I'm gonna liken you to a dog. So it feels like you're a bit of a golden retriever, and Kendo's maybe a bit of like a very proper poodle or something like that. And you're kind of the dog being like, come on, let's go, let's do this, Kendo. Because every once in a while you'd be like, and there we have it. I don't even remember. We're dunking those hundo burgers or something like that. And at some points Kendo would be like, and that's right. Those are those hundo burgers that we like so much. And it's like, yeah, this is a great combo. I love this.
The best was when he would start saying it and everybody's getting filled up on those burgers tonight. And I was just like, yes, I have infiltrated his brain somehow.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so fun to watch.
So let me just take a quick pause, kind of use this as we'll say a separating moment between kind of we talk about our feelings afterwards and the event maybe itself.
Sure.
Spragels, where does that come from? How did you come up with it?
It's my last name. It's just Sprague. And at some point, I think I had a boss at one point call me Spregulus, like Legolas, after he saw Lord of the Rings. I'm kind of tall. I've always been pretty thin, especially then. I was like always very, very tall, extremely slender. And I guess I kind of looked a little bit like an elf, maybe. Anyway, he called me Spregulus. And I think at some point that just kind of became Spraggles. I remember I lost my login credentials to my old Xbox ID, and when I made a new one, it was Spraggles, and since then, that's just what I've been using for gaming.
And is it open on all platforms? Have you secured it everywhere?
I don't think so. My branding's awful. It's like some places it's Spraggles, some places it's Jake is super cool. Everything is using the wrong email. I don't know what I'm doing. It's terrible.
Well, I was talking to Peak last week. He's like, I have Peak MP on everything on planet Earth except TikTok. So he was like, Peak MP TikTok, if you're out there, please just message me. He was
actually, crazy enough, that's me on TikTok. I am Peak MP, and I'm not giving it up. I like it.
Well, I mean, your brand is not having a brand.
That's right.
Bam.
Yeah. I'm Spraggles. I also say my name is Jake. I also say I'm a cowboy. Like, there's 50 things. It's too many things, but it is what it is at this point.
The chat, including myself, are a little bummed out. We haven't heard a yeehaw yet.
Oh, yeah. I thought I made that clear. Just Venmo me. Venmo me, and then I'll do it.
Okay, Venmoed.
Just checking right now. Sweet. This is sweet $600. Yeehaw, everybody.
There you go.
There we go. I think that was worth it. I really do.
So do I. Totally. Yeah, you got to spend money to make money, right?
Yeah, of course.
So after the event closed out and you had a time to digest the experience, well, for you, you were right back at it, a few hours later. But we'll say in that window, you had time to digest it a little bit. And how'd you feel? How'd you feel it went? How'd you feel it went from like a personal, like your personal performance standpoint? What are some things you were thinking about afterwards?
So, okay, a few things. When I go into something that maybe I'm nervous about, or I guess when there's, just a lot of pressure, you got to show up on the day, dubs, as they say, something like that. I like to think about how when it's done, I can't wait to tell my wife how well it went. That's something I keep in my head. Like, I can't wait to talk about how well this went. It's just like I don't know, maybe a way to deal with nerves or excitement or whatever it is, like, oh, I hope it goes well. Instead of I hope it goes well, I try to think, I can't wait to talk about how good this went. So I've always got that in my head a little bit. But I will say, after after the first break of EU, I thought, this is going pretty good. I feel pretty dang good about this. And moving into NA, it felt even looser. We were having more fun. You guys were going to be doing the heavy lifting in the grand finals. So near the end, we could kind of just kick back. I felt pretty good about that. And then I was a little nervous as we were coming to the end of it because I thought, oh no, I am going to thank a few people. And I know this might not go well. I don't know if they're going to be happy with me doing this because it's not in the script, but I just wanted to thank the people watching. I wanted to thank them for putting on such a good event. And I wanted to thank the Pokemon Company for having us do it. I thought, oof, I hope that doesn't go poorly because that's, not part of whatever script they have. Mm-hmm. But I did that and I did the outro and I don't know, I felt pretty euphoric. Not like the show because that show's a real downer, but I felt pretty euphoric, man. I thought it went so well. By the end of it, I felt like we were very playful with each other. The four of us, we got very playful throughout the broadcast, especially with moments people couldn't hear and things like that, like the I love yous and stuff. And I'm probably the most biased, but I kind of thought we crushed it. I really do. I thought we really nailed it.
I mean, I feel the same. I genuinely feel the same. And to your kind of closing thing, I actually thought the exact same thing. And I don't know if it was coming from the same place for you or as it was for me. But in my mind, I was just like, if I never get another crack at this, I at least want to thank the people that tuned in for the first one. Yes. So in my, because that last go round was supposed to be, closing thoughts about the event itself, right? We were supposed to talk about what we watched or whatever. And I just real quick at the end, I was like, I just want to thank everybody for allowing me to be your eyes in the sky for on AOS Island or whatever.
Yes.
And in my mind, I was like, I have no idea how this is going to go down because we're definitely like, that was not written anywhere, but I don't know if I'm going to get another bite at this apple. And I do not want to miss my chance to just thank the people because, there's people in my sphere of personal, friends and family that they don't play Pokemon Unite, but they tuned in all day and they watched all day because I'm there and they care about me. Kind of like the whole thing. I don't know if you've seen the meme, but it's Spider-Man kind of kneeling down and then Miles Morales muted my mic, looking intently, and it's like, I have no idea what you're doing, but like I'm just happy you're here type of thing. So anyways, I feel you 100% on that. I think it went great.
Yeah, that's how I felt leaving it too. I was thinking, I've said yeehaw 4 times or 5 times in this broadcast.
I don't know if they.
Well, that's good. Good.
At some point, I was like, I'm yeehawing too. Like, I'm not gonna be left down I won't have the most amount of yeehaws, but I'm getting some yeehaws in.
Yeah, you got to get some in, of course. I just felt like, if this doesn't happen again, kind of like as you were thinking, I want to have a little bit of a moment of thanking everyone for just giving me the opportunity because I'm just some guy who makes YouTube videos about the game. And then I also did want to have a moment where I thank the audience because I don't think it's stressed enough how much a game or a scene or any of that lives and dies based on people's excitement. So having tens of thousands of people watch this really is a big deal. I really do appreciate people spending their time with it. And I feel very fortunate that I got to be a part of it. If I never get to do anything again, Jake doesn't get to cast Worlds, Jake doesn't get to come back for another one of these, I feel really good about that. So yeah, I had that same moment as you, just that same feeling of, I want to say a little something here because it's a real special thing. I was a little... Yeah, it was a little, I don't know. It feels like something happened, right? You did something. That's the thing. You did a thing. I cast a video game tournament. I don't know. I didn't know that was going to happen to me like that.
Yeah, it came off very genuine, because obviously us three didn't know you were going to do that either, right? Because there was that clear script. That we knew you were...
It was, for everyone at home, it was really clear what I was supposed to say. I mean, it was word for word.
But it came out really nice, really genuine. I'm glad you said it. I kind of felt, that was definitely on behalf of the rest of us too, because I genuinely felt like Jeff and Akenda would have wanted to say that as well, just as much as I did. So that came out very nicely. And ultimately, I think it worked out. I think it worked out, I think
yeah.
It did.
I had a great time at the event. I had a great time with all you guys, and yeah, it felt like we did it. We really poured our hearts out a little bit in doing this thing that's obviously, we're casting a video game, but we all really gave it our best shot. We tried to show up and nail it and have fun, engage the audience, work with some very interesting changes to some of the vernacular that we had to use. I'm sure if people saw that broadcast and then maybe saw other videos that I've made or other commentaries that you've done and things like that, I'm sure they would probably notice, hey, they're speaking a little differently about the game. And so, yeah, man, I think with all that, it was a blast. It was great. I honestly think we did pretty well. But again, quite biased. Biased.
So our biased opinion went all right.
Yeah, not too bad.
Let's allow me to move past this wonderful experience we shared together.
How dare you? But please do.
How did you decide that Pokemon Unite was the game that you wanted to create content for? That you wanted to really get into the space, and obviously you found great success in it. Of course, almost everybody in the chat here, I'm sure, is from your sphere. Maybe they'd like to know how you got into Pokemon Unite to begin with, because your channel, I mean, honestly, didn't start that way.
Yeah, it didn't. So it was a lot about foods to eat that weren't hot dogs, and basically, in mid-pandem, I decided that I wanted to put more stuff out online, and I'd always had a bit of a dream to do something in gaming, but I'd never really pursued it, and I actually thought, maybe even correctly, that if I had pursued it, it would hurt some of my aspirations comedically, because you can only do so many things in life, right? You can't. It's hard to be the world's best triathlete while at the same time, I don't know, creating an electric car or something like that. Obviously, you can tell. I think content creation is pretty dang great because I compared it to those things. But my point is, you only have so many things you can do. And I worried that if I did too much in gaming, I wouldn't do as much in comedy. And I do think that ended up being the case because this Pokemon Unite thing really took off. So I do it so much. But I always thought maybe I couldn't do something in the gaming sphere. I don't know why. I've loved games my whole life, but for some reason I always shied away from it. And there was something about not being able to do any live comedy that just made me really kind of buckle down and work on this YouTube thing. And, I made a lot of stuff early on that isn't very good, but that's kind of what you do. You just make a bunch of stuff. Yeah. And I kind of got a little bit of steam, I guess the smallest amount ever of steam, where like 1,000 people would watch one of my videos. I was very stoked about this, and I still think that it was amazing. For this game, Auto Chess, it's just one of those, like, I think they're all called auto chess games, auto battlers, but you put units on a board and they fight each other. So I got a little of an audience around auto chess, and through that I was just making a ton of consistent videos, just videos every single day. I would try to make at least one video a day. And through that, I got okay at making thumbnails and okay at editing and okay at making videos and okay at all this stuff. And then a MOBA about Pokemon, which were kind of like two of my favorite things fusing, was coming out. I got into the beta and I started making a few videos here and there. And when there's excitement around something early, a lot of people are checking it out. So a lot of people happened to see what I was doing. And I remember telling my wife at one point, I really think there's something to this Pokemon Unite thing. I need to put a ton of time. I felt it. Like this was a thing. It's not, it wasn't a crazy fluke where I went, I had no idea. Like, I don't know why, but I just really thought, oh no, there's something here. And there are a couple people making content for it, but not a ton. And I think I can do something with this. And I just really pushed super hard with Pokemon Unite, and through making a ton of stuff and then getting lucky and all that, it just kind of started to blow up a little bit. And now here I am.
I mean, that's an amazing story. I think there's something very important in being able to identify, maybe not like, putting your thumb on something and saying, hey, this is the inflection point, this is the trend line, and being in front of that. But something in your gut that tells you like, make a move here, and then you do. Of course your channel is you're over 100K subs. That's nothing to scoff at. You're doing your Pokemon Unite content. You're obviously getting some commentary opportunities. I know you're doing a lot of cross collaboration with, not even just like myself tonight, but also, with the larger YouTube channels and things of that nature. So, I mean, you've caught the wave at the right time. The best time, best way to ride a wave is in front of it. Actually, it's not behind it or stuck in it. So I kind of feel, I mean, for me, my objectives with Unite Mics was different. But in my gut, I felt the same thing. Like this, it's something I'm interested in. This game has piqued my interest. But for me, it was always about getting into casting and finding my voice. Because I realized early on that as much as I love video games and trading card games, I have a huge passion for them. I'm actually super miserable at them. And I like functionally understand them better than I can execute on the things I know.
Sure. Which I totally get you. Yeah.
Which when the first time it was, just to, spin you a yarn about my history. I was at a Pokemon TCG regional and it went awful. And I was like, man, I was kind of, I was hoping to have an opportunity here. Well, the person I rode down with was actually commentating the event. And they're like, man, somebody dropped out. And the folks that were running were like, I mean, we'll give you a shot, I guess. And I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. And about 3 minutes in, I was like, if I never touched another card again to play, but just got to do this, I'd much rather be doing this. And I have a much, like my skill set lends itself much better here. Anyways, to say, when Pokemon Unite was announced and discussed, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to start commentating out of the gate. I want to find my voice. I want to figure it out. I want to find my style, and then I want to figure out how to work with other people so that my style rings true, but I can also prop people up. And I mean, obviously Unite Mics isn't super popular, but it is a great catalog of the competitive scene of Pokemon Unite so far. And you can literally watch video after video and see how I've improved, which is also a pretty cool little catalog to refer people to. Like, hey, what's your body of work when it comes to Pokemon Unite? Well, turns out I have a whole YouTube channel just kind of dedicated to cataloging that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's, I mean, I totally get how you feel with, kind of growing with it too, where you go, oof, I wasn't very good at that for a little while. Or maybe you were more of a natural. It sounds like when you were commentating, you kind of had a little bit of a natural ability there, but you just see how much better you've gotten as you go. And, speaking to what you do, I mean, obviously what you do is exciting enough for the people at, the Pokemon company to offer you a spot casting in the February Championship Series Grand Final. So, I mean, you're doing a lot right, I think. It's kind of tough, too. It's weird how I don't know why something is bigger than something else, or you can't really, it's like a confluence of 1,000 things. Sure. It's so hard to figure out what exactly it was. One thing I'm sure of is There's always going to be someone in Unite bigger than me. There will be someone in Unite who's not has anything to do with it right now that will one day be bigger than me. One day Unite won't be around. I'll have to find another thing. It's all like kind of an interesting sort of growth and flourishing and waning and I guess death and rebirth. And, it's all very much a cycle. And I don't know how any of that works with like size and analytics and figuring out how to grow or anything like that. But you kind of get in where you get in. And you got in and you casted the February finals, man, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. In that sense, it worked out. And they saw, I'm not even sure how all of this, again, like you said, coalesced. Like, I don't know what random link or what random search popped up the channel and then what led that to happen. But I'm certainly thankful for it. And it is kind of nice to see, a trajectory or at least a path forward to something that is kind of a dream come true, to be honest, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I have no idea how they found me, how they chose me. I recognize they make a lot of content for the game. I've never talked to anyone at Pokemon. They have never reached out to me. No one has ever been like, hey, good, cool, whatever you're doing. I have no contacts there. A lot of people in the scene have talked to people at Pokemon. They're always like, yeah, I talked to so-and-so, and they gave me some JS gems. I'm giving them away. I don't know anybody. So
yeah, neither do I. Well, maybe our anonymity or we're mysterious. We're just mysterious.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
They didn't know how to pin us down. What are these guys doing? We got to get them on the cast. But I felt very fortunate that they asked me to do it. So it was very cool.
So Spragels, let me ask you this. What's the path forward here in terms of content creation or where your mindset is about Pokemon Unite? I, for one, am obviously still very high on it. I know some others, you have your doomers from your doomers to, the people that hype it up the most. Where do you kind of fall in that scale?
I'm kind of surprised that there are people who are doom and gloom around the game just because there's so much that they're putting into it. They're putting in, like $1 million around this championship series and all that. There's constant broadcasts, at least on the Japan side. They have a way better setup than we do for like NAEU and stuff like that. But yeah, you saw the Latin America thing. They had a whole set built out. They have a world tournament. Yeah, it feels like they're constantly updating the game and releasing things that people are excited about and curious about. They talk about on Pokemon Day. I think the game is in a great state. I don't know. There's no way for me to know exactly, but I feel like the game is in a great state. And I'm excited to continue with Pokemon Unite wherever that takes me until Apex Legends Mobile comes out and I never make a piece of content for Pokemon again. So there we go.
Jeez.
Whenever they drop it. I don't know. No, one day I would love to continue making content for other things because, I don't only have Switch. I also have a PlayStation 5. Where's my Xbox? Oh, it's kind of like behind the PlayStation 5. So I have a few things here. I love gaming. This just happened to be kind of the perfect game for me. But I love gaming, so I would love to continue just making gaming content in the future if Pokemon Unite's not a thing one day.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm pretty hype up on the game again from my skill level. I'm sure some of the frustrations aren't necessarily felt by me. But when I think of, this is the first MOBA style game I've ever played. So when I'm playing it and I'm having fun. Obviously I'm feeling some frustrations. That's more of like, oh, why aren't you at this objective with me? And then you're like dying on a 4-on-1 or whatever, or getting KO'd, on a 4-on-1 But
be careful, dude.
When you look at other MOBAs, their track record is just so long. And there have been awful metagames in them, and there have been great ones. But the thing is, it's cyclical because it's an ever-developing game because they're adding new characters or adjusting the map this way or that, things like that. So to me, it's almost an endless possibility. And then on top of that, you think of the Pokemon IP. It's like there's just a shade under 1,000 potential characters or whatever,
Yeah.
like theoretical characters that can be plugged into the game. I mean, I would love to see some of my favorite Pokemon in the game. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm forever waiting on that, and then I'll become like a pseudo one trick on whatever that Pokemon is, right? When they finally put it in. But like, I know I'm not the only one. Kids are like, man, maybe they'll put in whatever.
Yeah, you get things in my chat all the time. Someone's like, do you think they're going to put in Arcanine? I'm like, I don't know, maybe. I mean, it would be cool if they did. There's so many. It's one of the best IPs ever for something like this. The possibilities feel almost endless. The game will go away before they have even come close to scraping the barrel of all the choices that they have for Pokemon. Yeah, I don't know. I feel great about it. I also recognize that I'm, biased as well because it's what I'm doing. So
Sure.
I do think though that at times that is kind of what breeds some of the cynicism around it. When it's the only thing that you're in, you kind of forget that not everyone is spending such a huge percentage of their time thinking about Pokemon Unite, so it can be kind of easy to go, there's no update. Is anyone going to fix Lucario? Like, it can kind of be easy to get frustrated when you are doing something for 8 hours a day. And it's like, I'm doing Pokemon Unite 10 hours a day. This is all I'm doing is thinking about Pokemon Unite. I think it's easy to forget that some people pick up this game for 20 minutes and are like, cool. Like I did good with Greninja. Like that's, right. Yeah, I think that's great.
What are your thoughts on how first off, all the different currencies? That's probably my biggest gripe about Pokemon Unite is I don't understand all the currency I have like within the game.
I personally like having 6 different sets of currency that don't all work together. No, but yeah, it is confusing, right? I remember making a video where I was like, there's coins and there's gems and there's tickets and there's item enhancers and then there are hollowware tickets. There's something else too. Then there's an energy reward system. Then you have like costumes. There's just like 50,000 things, and then then you have your player level, and you also have there's like so many things, and they like to do this in these games. I think it's kind of a maze. I've heard that the reason that they have so many different currencies is so it's kind of hard to track down how much money you've spent. I don't know enough about this. I don't know enough about monetization, but I've heard they kind of have so many different things, so it's hard to realize where you are at monetarily in this game. You're kind of like, I got a lot of the yellow, not as many of the pink and purple, good amount of the tickets, so yeah, I think that's kind of what they do with it. I don't really mind it because, as I've said, I don't think this is one of the more predatory free-to-play games. There are free-to-play games that are straight up 1,000,000% pay to win, and Pokemon Unite kind of destroyed that really early, giving out all those item enhancers and those super item enhancers. Like, they completely crushed that. You actually earn a decent amount of between all the events. You earn a lot, so you can unlock a lot in this game for free. If you've been playing this game since it first came out, you've without question, because you can get it in like a week. Without question, you have multiple items up to a level that you can compete. You have tons of characters. They give out free characters all the time. I think the only kind of gross thing they do is the pricing on the hollowware sometimes, but also, I don't know. If that's how they make their money, I don't really care. I mean, if someone wants to buy a Santa Claus Pikachu, me, I don't really mind if that's how they monetize this game. It seems great to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of those things. I'm like, I really like this hollowware. I'll just get it. I'll just get it because I haven't paid for this game and I'm putting a lot of minutes into it. I'm like not only viewing but also playing. So I'm with you on that. I know it can leave a sour taste in some people's mouths, but hasn't impacted me as such.
I totally get it. Look, the way I would like all games like this to work is sort of the Smite model. There's a MOBA called Smite, and they have what's called, I think it's called the Ultimate God Pack, because their heroes are called gods in that. And you buy it once, it's $30 or something like that, and you have every character that they ever release in the game. You unlock every single character that ever comes out. I actually would love to see something like that in this game where they just say, hey, if you actually want to pay for this game, throw us $40 or something like that. You'll have every Pokemon forever. And then that conversation can go away. But beyond that, I don't know. I feel like the complaints about this game were early on stuff that was a little, and they fixed it really quick.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that as well. So what's the future of the channel? I mean, in terms of Pokemon Unite content, are you specifically focused on gameplay? I know you've had some really great videos for Hoopa come out. Or is the texture just kind of, bringing people into the new characters or the new Pokemon that are released, and then filling those gaps in with maybe some gameplay videos type things? Or, do you have kind of like an idea in your back pocket that you're waiting to pull out?
I mean, I feel like I break my content up between things that I think are very useful, so guides and things like that. Things that I would click on myself. I try to always make all my content something I might actually watch myself. That's like one of my only guiding principles, is would I actually enjoy what I'm putting out. So it's why I love tier lists and things like that. It's one of my absolute favorite things. Whenever I'm playing a game like this, I'm watching so many videos about tier lists and top 5 tips with this character or something like that. So I love making stuff like that. I love doing some longer gameplay things. I'm trying to do another series where I just take an account from the lowest level to master. I like doing that with just like some fun challenges and stuff like that. And then, yes, of course, sort of reporting on the most current things happening in the game. So when a new Pokemon is coming out and all that, I make a lot of videos around that. And then the thing that has been really exciting me for a while that I've, still trying to get better at is casting and stuff like that. I never thought there'd ever be a possibility I could cast for an official broadcast. So I kind of got there, and yeah, now if I could do something to put me in a position to cast for Worlds, boy, I would love to do that.
Well, once you figure that out, you let me know. We'll ride off into the sunset together.
I would never tell you. No. I'm keeping that one close to the vest. No, but of course. I mean, I would be so over the moon if you and I and the rest of the team that worked on that were able to do something like that. There are also a lot of great people in the community I would love to see there. I got to do a little... I casted TTV before they were GG in their qualifiers, and I had your buddy Zoinks on casting with me, and that was a real treat. So I would love to see him as a part of it. There are a lot of great people in the community that I would love, to see an opportunity given to them. But of course, I want that opportunity for me first. So let's make that very clear. That's me, then everyone else.
Sure. Big shout out to Zoinks, the other anchor on Unite Mics, the other oar that keeps this ship going straight. Spragels, I've been bending your ear here for about 45 minutes.
Sure.
Tell me this. What's your favorite Pokemon, and is it in Pokemon Unite? If not, what's your favorite Pokemon in Pokemon Unite?
My favorite Pokemon is in Pokemon Unite. It is Squirtle. I was an OG Pokemon Blue guy. So my buddy had Red. A kid I didn't even know had Pokemon Red. It was how I've made one of my best friends in my life. He had Pokemon Red. He was on my bus. And I kind of saw this game. I had no idea what it was. I always loved RPGs, and he was sort of showing it to me. I went out and I got Pokemon Blue, and you kind of get Blue, and then you see the character from the box, and you're like, that's the one for me. And ever since then, I've always had a soft spot for Squirtle. He was cool in the anime as well. So yeah, Squirtle was the number one for me. But oddly enough, I own 0 Blastoise Holoware. I just don't like the Holoware. I don't know what to do.
That's tough sledding.
I know.
That's tough sledding.
I know.
Is Squirtle / Blastoise your favorite character to play in Pokemon Unite, or does that reside somewhere else?
No, my favorite character is Greedent. It's incredibly mean. It's like you're playing a different game. When I'm playing Pokemon Unite, my favorite things to do are things that are almost mini games inside the game. So any character I really like playing is a character I can use stacking items on, because there's like a little mini game that you're having fun with that nobody else really cares that you're playing, but you're like, I gotta get 6 stacks. I gotta get 6 stacks. So I'm really focused on that. And then a character like Greedon is just obnoxious. And I feel like I kind of can do whatever I want. No, it's almost that whatever you're doing as Greedon is just causing, you're like the Joker. You don't care about what's happening exactly. You just want to watch the world burn a little bit. I just want to annoy everyone as much as possible with Greedon, and that's all I do. And it's truly a blast when I play Greedon. My favorite to play, for sure.
And always in the Cowboy Hollowware, I presume?
I mean, at this point, I don't know if they made this Hollowware just to suck money out of me, but they got it. They got it all. So I bought every Cowboy.
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't love Greedon? I like how the holsters just hold the fruit basket from the Unite move.
Yeah, it's perfect. They've done a really good job with some of this Hollowware. Some of it is questionable. You know, these characters just kind of wearing an orange T-shirt and a headband. I don't know what they're trying to do there. But other stuff they've really nailed. You know, they've really nailed a few of these.
I'd like to see just a few more Hollowware for different Pokemon where they have the animations, the animation changes, the graphic changes.
Yeah.
I feel like some Pokemon are just really light on those or don't have any at all.
Yeah, there are quite a few. I was looking at Slowbro earlier and I thought, no way, Slowbro doesn't have one. Blastoise doesn't really have one, you know? Like a few characters got some amazing ones early, but I know it's all part of the plan. They're coming. Right. They got something coming.
They're just sandbagging us until, like you said, they can just nab all our money at once.
Smack my microphone. What's your favorite character to play?
Favorite character to play for me, because I'm super lame, is Eldegoss.
I don't think that's lame.
Yeah. I like
if the chat says it's lame, look, I don't think it's lame. If everyone in the chat starts repeatedly saying it's lame, would I support that? Absolutely not. I think that would be I think that would be a very not cool thing to do. So if that's what people do to you, I hate that. But if it's what they do, I don't know what to tell you at that point.
Well, I'm going to take that as a vote of confidence from the Content Cowboy. I will say I haven't had the opportunity to play any hoopa, and I am very excited for that because that's the type of cheesy BS that I'm into. Like,
it's so fun and so insane. It's crazy.
Action. Well, Spragels, it's been an absolute pleasure, but I definitely want to give you the floor as if my slightly smaller audience filled with your people need to know where to find you. Please regale them with the tales of all your content creation and where they can find the Cowboy.
Oh, yes. Thank you. You can check me out on YouTube. You can search Spragels, Spragels. I make a lot of content on there. With any luck, I might be back casting a Pokemon Unite event near you. Actually, at some point, it got really sidelined because of what is happening right now. But I was planning on doing a community tournament for my Discord community with you and Zoinks. I still need to make sure that happens. It's just kind of the worst time to do it because it's in the midst of all these tournaments. But that's something that we do need to make happen. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, thank you all for checking out whatever I do. If you do that, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very, very much for coming on. I am very grateful not only to have cast with you this past weekend, but of course get to talk to you today. And hopefully we get to rinse and repeat that opportunity again together. That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. But real quick, top 5 foods that aren't hot dogs for you. Go.
Top 5 foods that aren't hot dogs.
Yeah. But you got to recognize there's a fine line there because we're already assuming hot dogs are so good. I'm not trying to sway you, but please.
Tornadoes from the gas station. Hot dog shaped, not a hot dog. Pretty good.
Not bad.
Corn dog. Because I'm about towing that line.
Killer. Love it.
Poutine, because I'm Canadian, and I love that stuff.
Great.
I feel like my mom would be disappointed if I didn't put a vegetable in there. So I'm going to go celery because I like the crunch. I know it doesn't really have any taste or nutritional value, but the crunch is where it's at for me. And
I'm not a fan, but it's your list. So go ahead.
And lastly, hot dog, because
Whoa, you got hot dog on there too. You got hot dog and corn dog. You are a nut, my friend. You're crazy.
We're off the charts over here at a Late Night Unite. Can't stop the train. Can't stop the train. But I'm going to go through my exiting spiel here. Please follow us on everything at Unite Mics. That's Twitter, YouTube /Unite Mics, Twitch.tv/Unite Mics. Yeah, but that's the long and the short of it. He's the Content Cowboy. I'm the Shoutcast Kid. I'll Photoshop some stuff together to put online. It'll be hilarious. But on behalf of both of us, please have a wonderful night. Be safe out there. Peace, love, and hugs. We'll see you next time.